Hi, welcome to DIY Anyone. This is Jen Bueller, and I'm so glad to have you back. And what we're going to see today is, in my last video, I showed the little throwback ornaments from the mouse that a lot of, I cannot believe how many of you guys used to do those walnuts when you were kids. So in interest for my granddaughter who loves llamas, I did my best attempt to make a llama here. Now you could call it several different things, several different animals. I don't know that I really captured the llama look. I had a tough time figuring out what to do with the ears. And, I think pinching it together and trying to make it look like a horse ear is what I saw when I look at a llama. But, maybe you guys can give me some ideas of what you would do differently. And then I just embroidered the eyes, and I embroidered the nose. And what that body is made of, that bumpy stuff, is the sock. Now, the legs, I did not have any footage of this. I thought I communicated to get some footage. But what I have is a piece of the elastic part of the sock for the legs. And I just put that around a chenille stem, so that way I can bend those legs how I want to bend them. And then I tried to do some embroidery on the end of the feet, and that was just not only a pain in the neck, but it just didn't turn out how I wanted it to look. So I actually used a black Sharpie on the feet, and that actually I think turned out really cute. And what's so fun is once you get those glued in there, the kids and grandkids can have a great time with just reshaping the legs and put them different directions. You have to be careful with it, but the chenille stem inside of there really does allow for that to be placed a bunch of different directions. And then again, if you didn't see the other video, it'll be linked down below. But then what you do is then the bed itself is a cotton ball with a 2-inch circle that you just sew the edges of it, or sew the edges around to make it gather up. And then initially, when I was going to put this in with just the head and not the legs, it was so unbalanced it didn't hang right. So I had put some of those little tiny little rock things under the bed so that it would have some weight at the feet. And then once I added the legs, it didn't seem to need it. But just throwing that in there if you have any problems with balance, that you can throw some little tiny baby rocks or those little shiny gem things. I cannot think of the name of them, I'm sorry. Anyway, you could throw those in the bottom of the shell underneath the bed, and that could give you some weight to make it where if the head is too heavy, that would help you still accomplish the look of letting it hang cute. But isn't that cute? So there's the little llama, fa la 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 llama, hanging from, again, the cute little ribbon, and he actually does hang fairly even. And yeah, there you can see he actually hangs fairly nice. And remember to put that dot of glue on the bow at the top of the ribbon so that if somebody pulls on it, it won't be difficult to retie. All right, so on to our next project. So everybody has had such a fit with these calendars from Dollar Tree, and I agree, they're adorable. So I saw Annalee Ashby, who is one of my favorite crafters, and she is one of the nicest gals that has helped me so much, being new on YouTube. And so I saw a version of what she did, and I linked this below in the box. And her version did involve using some tools, and I thought, well, I use tools and I could recreate what she did, but I thought, well, let's see if we can do another version just for fun. So I took the cardboard, and the secret to this one, you really need that thin cardboard that's in that piece of the calendar already. It's like super thin cardboard to make this work for this craft. If you did a thicker cardboard, because you can replace these sheets and use different, not just the Halloween or the Thanksgiving, Halloween, whatever, and the Peace on Earth, you can use all different kinds of ones, which I intend on doing, but finding that cardboard is going to be the trick, that very, very thin cardboard. Now, one thing I did not do on this, and I did it after the fact, and I don't know that you'll be able to see it, but when I go to slide this calendar piece inside the frame that I'm going to make, it wants to snag. Just, one little bit. And this paper from the calendar, again, it is so super thin that what I ended up doing is going back with Scotch tape. Okay, let me back up. Let me forget that for a second. So I taped all these together and then I sawed them all. These are 9-inch pieces and I needed 4 because I'm making a back to the frame and a front. And then these are 4 12-inch pieces. And these are the heavy duty, there it says 12.5 inches, sorry. Actually, I'm not sure if it's 12.5 because of the fact that the ruler might not have been even. I'll double check that. If it's different, I'll let you know. Anyway, so what we're doing here is we're making a gap. We're creating a gap with these popsicle sticks so that when I put the 2 pieces of the identical frame together, front to, so I have 2 pretty sides sticking out, then I'll have that popsicle stick is enough of a gap to create a little pocket that I can slide that piece of calendar through. And so I did my wood glue, and then for the long hold, and wood glue really is the best thing, but I wanted a quick hold, so I put hot glue in between the dots of wood glue. All right, and so realize you're only doing the popsicle on 3 sides to create that pocket at the top to slide your calendar piece on through. And so that's the 3rd side, so you can see I've got on the 3 sides. Excuse me. All right, so then what I did is I painted that with elephant, and then I distressed it with mineral. And I'm sorry that I didn't show the paint thing. I usually do that. The reason I'm painting the sides there is because you are creating a gap. You could see the yellow popsicles color. And if you were really, AR about this, you could put other popsicle sticks to make it where you didn't have as much of a gap on the sides. But honestly, I don't think it shows. I think the calendar is so pretty, it doesn't matter. Also, be sure and put the side with the measurements to the inside of the calendar. All right, so now I glued the one piece together, and now the other side, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna now staple this on there. Give that plenty of time to dry. And what I'm just using the staple gun, and I used for these big sticks, I used the half-inch staples. And realize, staple on the very edge where your popsicle sticks are, because again, that's how you create that groove for that piece of paper to slide down through. And then just staple on the 3 sides. All right, so now I'm going to slide this in, and you can see that has the tape on it on the edge. You can barely see it, but it's there. So then this will slide down through. And on the first time here, I did not get it down in the pocket below, so it's not centered as well. But you can see that actually that was before I taped it. I take that back. And then I realized, oh, we need to add something to that, because every time you pull this in and out, you don't want to have it being tearing, because you want this to last for a while. So what I did was I did the tape, and then you can see once I pushed it down in the groove that the pumpkin becomes completely centered. Now I'm just tying a shoestring bow for this and then dovetailing the ends. And then what I'm going to do is put some Velcro on each side. So you put the 2 pieces of Velcro on the frame identically, and then the opposite piece will go on the bow. And that's how you can then, when you flip the calendar around, you use the different kind of the other, like say the opposite sort of the Velcro, and then you just pop your bow off, turn it around, and then you have a bow for the other side. So consider that when you're doing that. Or you could make a bunch of different bows. Normally that's probably what I would do, is I would make something different because I like doing that. But I certainly like this neutral bow as well. And then so you can turn it over, peel off your bow, and that actually stuck pretty well. I did not have any other, I didn't do any other hot glue on that, but if you had problems with it sticking, your Velcro sticking, you could very easily just hot glue that on. But see, the back side, you've got the one piece, and then flip around and there's your bow. Now, I was trying to decide if I wanted to add little hangers to this or not, and you could add hangers to one side, but I opted to do this. This is actually aspen wood from a tree in our yard, and that white colored bark looks so pretty that I thought, well, let's give it a try. And here's the final shot, and like I say, you can add whatever color or whatever calendar you want in there, and that makes it really versatile. All right, now we're on to the last craft for the day, and the inspiration for this came from the fact that I'd seen this gray deco, kind of grayish, it's not really silver, but it's more gray looking. And that was my inspiration. And by the way, I want to thank Elena Jenkins and her co-host Dandy Soap DIY for hosting this inspiration, the inspiration challenge. And the goal is, what are we inspired by? And I saw this, I haven't made very many of these deco bows, sorry, not bows, wreaths, that thing. And so I thought, I'm going to give this a try. So I did the puffy all around, and they were 6-inch loops. And then you see off to the side, I took 6-inch pieces and curled them up, and I did 2 of them, tied then I had a little bit longer piece of the chenille stem that I used to tie them together, and then you can see I'm tying them underneath just to kind of fill up the area around that puffy. So I'm using the 2 techniques. So the puff that I did was all one piece, and then, oops, I'm not sure what happened there. And then the, sorry, little pause. Then that other piece is just, like I say, 6-inch pieces, 2 of them curled together, and then use the chenille stem to tie them to the frame. And that's a Dollar Tree frame. So you can see how that nicely filled in between the 2 areas of the puff, okay? And you can kind of just see where you kind of pull it apart and if it doesn't look as full as you want, and just do it to what your eye likes. If it's too much, you just like the puffs, then you can totally pull those puffs apart, because I used 2 strands of the deco mesh. And I believe I used probably 5 or 6 rolls of this gray color that they had at the Dollar Tree. So that's $6 plus the frame, $7. And then I'm going to use some other Dollar Tree ornaments. $6, $7, $8. It's no more than $10 I have in this wreath. Now, so I'm going back afterwards, and I'm pulling these 2 layers of the puff apart just to kind of see, okay, is it as full as I want it? You can see the inner bit of that deco mesh that really sticks up nice, and it can fill in the center. And I see so many of these people that make these beautiful wreaths that sell them professionally do really fill in the center, and there's not a whole lot of the center that is shown. And you can, again, what do you like? Do what you like, and that's the nice thing about it. All right, so I'm going to take some of this pitberry that I got from Dollar Tree, and we're going to use that just to kind of decorate around the wreath, just to add a little extra depth. And then I'm also going to add these lights. So I had the fairy lights from Dollar Tree, and what I did is I am winding, I have the lights all unwound. And so just kind of was measuring to see, all right, how far will they go? And they would go nicely all the way around the wreath. So before I'm adding those lights and the pitberries, which I'm going to wire those together, I saw some of this tulle that I thought was pretty, and it had a little bit of a design on it. I don't know that I showed that, but I think actually I'm using like the silver and the white, and then I'm just making it have a little extra depth and color. And so I'm going to wrap that down to the bottom area, that outside ring, and then flip it around. So it's kind of like a back forth type motion, just to add, again, a little bit more character. And I think you got to add 2 layers, otherwise it looks too spider webby, and I didn't want it to look spider webby. I don't know, tell me, do you think it looks too spider webby and I shouldn't have done that? Nice thing is that I had enough decoration that it's not something that's really obvious on the top. And then fluff that a bit. And then as you're fluffing, you can be thinking about, okay, what do you want to put on this? And you can see what I've got to the left there is I've got some of the white snowflakes, and those are from Dollar Tree. And then on the right, I have some silver snowflakes. Those are from Dollar Tree. And then I have a bag of the tiny pine cones, and then 2 of the bottle trees that are also from Dollar Tree. So I forgot about the, no, I think I added right. About $10, maybe 11, because I think I did add the lights, but I forgot about the pitberries. So $11 you've got in this. And I dare say it'd probably sell for a whole lot more. So I wired the lights with the pitberry. or I'm getting ready to. Excuse me, I'm sorry. All right, so I just laid it out to kind of see if I liked it, and then I took the pipberry, wired it together with the lights, and then I'm kind of playing with it to see, okay, is that where I want the lights? Then what's really nice is to be able to take that battery pack and you can wire it to the back. And then if you want to take those lights out, you can. And then also be sure and wire it so that the screw part where you change batteries is to the top. That's why I didn't hot glue it in, so it'd be easy to change if I wanted to. And you've got the chenille stems that are right there that actually 2 of them will wire that in nicely. And yet you still have the ability to turn it off and on very easily. That little battery pack it nestles really nicely between the wires of the wreath itself. So I turn that off, turn it around. All right, so I've got that pipberry and that done. Now, what are we going to do to the outside? And so I'm going to just kind of lay some stuff out here. And this wreath is going to my stepdad. He is in Wyoming, and we don't get to see him very often. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do here, how I'm going to place this stuff. And a lot of times, it's good, don't get glue gun happy. Kind of look at what you're going to do, and always remember, where are you going to put your bow? And I know I'll be shifting this when I realize that I want to put my bow at the top, and that'll show you. It'll show you in a second here. You could also overlap these snowflakes, which I didn't think of at that time. But once we got it all glued on, you can see. So here I put the bottle brushes there, and then I did my ribbon, 3 different types of ribbon, and there it is. And if you want to know how to do anything more, just give me a buzz. Let me know. Instagram me, and I can't wait to see you guys again. And thanks so much to Elena and Dandy Soap again. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.